Good afternoon, my buddies, my friends. Liberty Garden, March 24th. And today I will be transplanting some of my tomato plants that I started about 2 weeks ago in these little jiffy pods. And look at that monster right there. She's outside for a reason. Believe you me. But anyway, I got here, the first things to sprout were the tomatoes, Roma tomatoes and black cream tomatoes. Then I got some marigolds that I'm going to plant. I got thyme that's barely coming out, and savory, and the peppers, the bell peppers, are barely breaking the surface. So today I'll be transplanting these tomato plants. As you can see, they already started growing their real leaves, and they're tossing their baby leaves. So it's time to get them out of these pods. Those are just peat moss, and it's time to put them into real soil where they'll get a little more nutrition, and they'll get that's like stage 2 before they go in the ground. And I'll still keep on pampering them until they're ready to come outside. One thing you'll notice about tomato plants, they have a lot of little hairy little hairs around the stem, and all those can become roots. So I will be transplanting these into cups that are filled about halfway of soil. That way most of the plant will be buried. Maybe I'll leave about half an inch unburied, and all those little stems with those little hairs will develop more roots, and it'll become a stronger plant. So I'm not gonna, some people may plant them all the way to the top like this. No, keep them at the bottom and cover most of those little hairy stems with soil. That way they grow into a stronger root system. When you transplant a tomato and when you put it on the ground, it's very, very important that you don't let soil get on the leaves. Or if some soil comes in the leaves, like it will happen when you transplant, be sure you blow it away gently. Okay, there's a lot of pathogens in soil that cause tomato blight. That's probably the number one reason why tomatoes are so finicky and so hard to grow, because of blight that is often found in the soil. And when people water their plants, they splash soil onto the leaves, or they when it rains, the soil, the water, the raindrops that hit the soil splash back into the leaves, and that starts causing all kinds of blight. The transplanting is complete. Basically 12 tomatoes between cream and Roma, and 5 marigolds. You may ask, why do I want marigolds? I just kind of like them around the garden. They're also a very good medicinal plant. I'm not sure exactly what, but apparently they are loaded with good stuff. So I'm gonna give them a try. I'll investigate what they're good for in the future. But they also attract a lot of good pollinators and a lot of good beneficial insects to the garden. I don't use any insecticides, pesticides, or any of that stuff, so all the help I can get is good. For now, I'm going to keep these plants in semi-shade. Got this peach tree providing some shade, just to minimize the transplant shock. I already watered them. It's some water at the bottom. I spray them on the top. That way they get some water immediately. The peat moss pods were starting to get a little dry, and this is it. For the following days, depending on where you are, if you are in a very hot area where there's a lot of dry wind whipping these plants, I would keep them, I would limit their exposure to easy morning sun, and then provide some protection, maybe partial shade, also some wind protection. If you're up in north, well, you probably still need to keep these plants inside with grow lights in a sunny window. And if you're in an area like mine where right now the weather is not so cold yet, still be careful, because these tender shoots are a delicacy for birds, rats, rodents, etc. Okay, so bring them in at night. Be sure you don't leave them unattended. Keep them in a high place where a rodent may not climb up and eat them. Okay, because you're just starting out and these plants are still very frail. Also, don't let the container get dry because these root systems are still very weak. And if they dry out for a day, you lose the plant and all the work that went into it. So just keep that in mind. Water from the bottom, like this, like you see right there. And these containers, I get them at Walmart. They're like $2.50, $3, and they're excellent for this purpose. They're real tough. Uh, the last 3 or 4 growing seasons, and then the sun gets to them, and they start breaking apart. But anyway, I hope this helps. This is about it. This is tomatoes. I'm going to start doing more planting here in the garden in a minute. I got these beds here that I need to clean up and start seeding directly into those beds. And that bed over there by the wall, I'm also going to seed into that wall. And I got this big bed here that half of it is planted with potatoes. The other half will be planted with potatoes probably by next weekend or so. And that's it. Oh, I also got this bed here, which has arugula volunteer. I love that arugula. That's rocket arugula. And it's got some comfrey there. The comfrey's not volunteer, but I planted it there, and then it's just kind of spreading by itself. Um, and that's it for now, folks. Thanks for watching, and until next time.